What's up, everybody? We're getting into some more Malifaux lore, and this week we're talking about Von Schtook of the Resurrectionists. You know the drill here, spoiler alert for all of Von Schtook's stories, and you find a list of those stories down below, so if you're curious, definitely check them out for yourself. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, or else I'll send my student of Sinew after you. And with that, let's jump into Von Schtook. One of Von Schtook's students senses outsiders approaching and attacks them. The woman dodges its blows, and the man uses some sort of magic to pacify it, as Von Schtook steps out of the shadows, recognizing his friend Sandeep, and compliments him for not damaging his student. He turns to the woman and asks if she has come to join his university, but Sandeep says no, so Von Schtook follows up by asking if he has information on Molly Squidpiddge. The man responds that he wouldn't be here if he didn't, but that he needs a favor from Von Schtook in return. He explains that he needs the help of one of his students, in particular one who is fast and has some experience with the arcane. Von Schtook gestures, and one of his students approaches, and he explains to Sandeep that this student had magical abilities in life and seems to have retained some of them in death. Sandeep approves, and they arrange for a meeting place for the day of the job. Then Von Schtook demands to know what information he has on Molly, and Sandeep hands him a newspaper clipping. He looks at it and is confused, until Sandeep points out that the author's name is Polly Tortolin. Von Schtook considers that the writing seems to be in Molly's style, and that she must be writing under a pen name, most likely under the orders of Seamus. Von Schtook is satisfied, and tells the woman to return in a week for the start of the next semester. Professor Albus von Schtook was an astronomy professor in Germany. He came to Malifaux to study the stars, but nothing in the Malifaux sky made any sense. As his friends made progress in other scientific fields, von Schtook got more and more frustrated as the constellations shifted and the natural order of things seemed to break down. Eventually, he became so dejected that he decided to hide from the stars and move to the underground. No one is sure why he turned to necromancy, but after months alone, he invited his former colleagues to a party, and none of them were ever seen again. Soon after, the ethervoxes all over Malifaux were overridden by a powerful signal, and von Schtook broadcasted his first lesson as he transfigured a screaming subject into an iron zombie. In the years since then, he has operated the University of Transmortis, teaching his undead students the art of amalgamation. Professor von Schtook wakes up at 6 a.m. sharp and goes to check on his students. He finds a group of them observing a lesson as their instructor dissects a corpse. Some of the pupils take notes, but none of them speak as most don't have the ability. As he walks away, he sees a flying object that looks like a human head but is stuffed with the mechanical parts of a guild watcher. It crashes into the ground, and von Schtook takes out a whistle and blows it. A student of steel approaches and grabs the broken construct with a look of concern. Von Schtook scolds him for wasting university resources and failing to give the construct the ability to land. The student mopes at hearing that he might get a bad grade, but von Schtook tells him to show him the intel it collected so he doesn't have to give a demerit. The student takes a lens out of the construct and puts it in a projection lantern, and images begin appearing on the wall. A group of students gather to watch, and they see the path the Watcher took over the past few hours. They see Hoffman, the guild's amalgamation officer, and he looks like he's been in a fight. Von Schtook also notices his companion, a large man who is fitted with several amalgamated parts. He considers that this man would be a great addition to his school. He keeps watching until he sees a badly injured woman with her arm mangled who is wearing a mechanical dress. Von Schtook is giddy and tells the student that he gets top marks for building the construct. He heads to a nearby elevator and blows another whistle. The valedictorian lands, and von Schtook tells her that they have an interesting new applicant. On the surface, von Schtook approaches the woman, Anna Lovelace, as she tries to drag herself down the road. She notices him approaching and asks who he is. He introduces himself and tells her that a little bird told him she was injured, so he came to help. She replies that she knows his lectures, and von Schtook is pleased to hear his reputation precedes him. He tells her that she must come have a tour of his university. Anna cuts him off and tells him that she won't be going, as she struggles to find an escape route. She tells the man that she is too injured to go with him, but von Schtook says it's no big deal, and she won't be bothered too much with little things like bleeding out after she's had her enhancements. After all, his school has a policy: no living. Anna asks him to help her out of her dress, which is badly damaged, and von Schtook gasps and tells her that that wouldn't be proper for a gentleman. She assures him that she has clothes on underneath, and he agrees to help. As he approaches, she slips her secret blade out and turns to strike him, but is suddenly slammed to the ground as the valedictorian blocks her blow. Von Schtook looks at her angrily, but then calms down and leans forward to take off her hidden blade. He praises her talent, and the valedictorian picks her up, as he tells her that they will have a tour of the grounds. Von Schtook leads Anna around the school and has to slap her in the face to keep her awake as she's losing so much blood. She stares daggers at him as he begins explaining the layout of the school. The Hall of Steel, where the engineers study amalgamation, constructs, and soulstones. The Hall of Sinew, where they teach medical courses, sociology, and culinary trades. And the Hall of Viscera, where they study the arcane, magical theory, and theology. Anna starts to collapse, and when she comes to, she grabs von Schtook by the collar and demands medical attention. When he refuses, Anna turns a knob on her dress, and von Schtook is suddenly pushed back by its power against the railing. She tells him that he's going to give her medical attention and leave her alive, or she'll blow up her dress and destroy his school. He doubts that she can destroy the whole school, but doesn't want to take the risk that it'll be damaged. He considers that it's unthinkable to let her join the school with a pulse, but he can't let her go either. After all, the university has a perfect attendance record. He looks at the struggling woman and tells her that her arm doesn't look salvageable. She insists that he just keep her alive, and he concedes and brings her to an operating room. He tells her that she might die anyway, and asks if he can bring her back if she does. Anna sets a timer on her dress, and tells him that if she does not reset it periodically, then they will all explode. Von Schtook gets some tools, and asks Anna to indulge him as he grabs a microphone and introduces his audience to his new subject. Weeks later, von Schtook wakes up at 6 a.m. sharp and heads into the school. He finds Anna giving a lesson to several of the students, and when she finishes, he tells her that she gets top marks. She replies that she doesn't need his approval, but nonetheless, she hopes her contributions are appreciated. She then expresses her concern about how some of the students still look at her as prey. Von Schtook challenges her on her motivations for teaching, and Anna complains that she has still not been given access to the school's library. Von Schtook tells her that there are rules and she has to go through the proper channels, and Anna replies that their professional relationship is over and she will leave this sham school. Von Schtook is incensed, and a horde of his followers emerge from behind him. He tells her that he could have her torn apart on a whim, and Anna touches her dress and tells him that if he tries anything, she'll destroy the whole school. They stand in silence for a minute before she adds that this is pointless. Von Schtook tells her that she has been a disruption to his school's routine, and Anna shoots back that the problem with the school is him. He has allowed the school to become stagnant by following the same routine, converting every new student and never letting anyone leave. She points out that there are many Resurrectionists who could contribute knowledge to the school and benefit from its teachings. Von Schtook admits that he has always been curious about Dr. McMorning and Leviticus. Anna also adds that they could have access to outside resources and off-campus facilities for field testing. Von Schtook quietly remarks that they could also do astronomy. He thinks about it and then turns to the students and announces that they'll be making some changes in the curriculum and introduces Anna as their new career counselor. On the surface, Anna collects her belongings to bring back to her new home. She considers running away, but is then interrupted by a student of Viscera. She tells it she will be along in a moment, and when the student hesitates, Anna turns to face it, to find it staring at her with a look of hatred. Suddenly, it pounces, but she is faster and activates her dress, pushing it away and slamming it into a nearby wall. She calls the other students, and they see their companion on the ground. She tells them that she knows that some of them have been conspiring against her, and she holds up her hand as a swirl of black energy flies out and into the student. It writhes in pain as its body rips itself apart. She announces to the students that she is not their prey to be converted, and that she is not weak nor kind, but that she is their teacher, and that they will respect her, or she will peel them apart. Von Schtook gets up at 5:45 and finds his students bringing crates of Anna's belongings into her new office. He notices they're carrying one of the students and scolds him, telling him that he should have listened to the new policies and that he gets a failing grade. He goes inside and asks Anna how the move was, and she tells him that she raided a guild lockup on the way back and took confiscated amalgamations. Von Schtook is pleased and asks her to follow him. He leads her into the Hall of Sinew, where several humans are being held guard by the students. Anna asks what's going on, and Von Schtook announces that the new policies are being implemented, and these are their new candidates. The humans all look scared and begin to protest, but he tells them that whoever can sneak their way through the school and find the valedictorian without being caught will get to keep their life. The rest will join the school in another way. They are released, and some start to complain, but the guards attack. One of the humans throws a blast of green fire at the nearest guard and then runs away. Von Schtook comments that he shows initiative. That evening, they induct 3 new members into the school, and Anna comments that it didn't go exactly as she expected, as she thought the school would be open to everyone. Von Schtook says that change will take time, and he and his students are set in their ways. He asks her what should be their first new lesson, and Anna says that she wants access to the full library. Von Schtook agrees, as long as he can teach the classes on anatomical reconstruction. He then asks if she thinks McMorning might be interested, and Anna replies that he might be, since he recently lost his job at the Guild Enclave. Von Schtook is excited about the changes at his university, and he would have been the first to admit that the curriculum had been getting pretty stale. He led the charge and handpicked the first new applicants, but just as they were about to sign their letters of intent, Von Schtook noticed that the stars were wrong. The cosmos tore apart as the Burning Man arrived, and Von Schtook looked on with tears in his eyes. He canceled all classes at the university, and spent his time studying the phenomenon and spreading his teachings around Malifaux. As an astronomer, his greatest love was the stars, and after all this time, he had missed them. So that's Von Schtook. He's kind of a weird cat. I like the strange contrast between the horrible things that he's doing and how seriously he takes it as a school and a university. Everything's about the students and the curriculum, and he's very strict about following the rules and traditions. It'll definitely be interesting to see him interact with the other Resers a little bit more, now that he's come up from the underground. There were some hints that he's got some weird obsession with Molly, so I wonder if that story will ever go anywhere. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, drop a comment below and let me know who you want to see me do a video on next. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel to get some more Malifaux lore, and thanks for watching.